I'm really hopeful as we put our table together that we're going to come to some constructive approach so that we can reach carbon neutrality by 2050. But I have to say, I'm constantly dismayed that Environment Minister Steven Guilbeault continues to take shots against our province as we're trying to begin this collaborative process. He should be coming to the table in good faith, and he should zip it, quite frankly, because he's not helping. When he starts talking about emissions caps, when he starts putting forward aggressive emissions reduction targets that are unachievable by 2035, I have to react to that. We're going to bring a responsible amount of wind and solar power on stream, but it will never be baseload because it's intermittent. We just saw this week. We've had two times this week where our power grid almost failed because the wind wasn't blowing. That's why we have to be cautious about how much wind and solar we bring on and make sure we always have baseload back as backup. It's just that the targets being put forward by Environment Minister Steven Guilbeault are arbitrary, not based on data, not based on science, seem to be plucked out of thin air and unachievable, as well as being unconstitutional. And he's the one who's gone to China to give them advice on how to reach a 2060 target when they are bringing on 2 coal-fired plants a week for electricity. Meanwhile, from there, he is telling us that Suncor is going to face an emissions cap. That is being provocative. He's the one who has to dial it back. And as soon as he does, we'll be happy to have a constructive conversation at the table. But he's got to stop dropping bombs, and he's got to stop criticizing our industry. I have had now 9 level 3 alerts in my province in the last year. And that means that the power grid is close to failing because wind is either not blowing or sun is not shining. And the only backup that we have is natural gas. So we know that we have to be able to bring on both of those. We have to be able to bring on baseload power at the same time as intermittent power. And that's the reality that we need to be grappling with here. So we're happy to support a responsible amount of wind and solar on the grid, but we also need to have baseload power because my number one goal is to make sure that the lights don't go off.